Well, here we are back at the 3.0 engine. Had to put that drive nut back on to turn the engine to get the timing lights marks lined up. We were lucky this belt wasn't already broke. So if it was broke, you just first you got to find top dead center with your crank, and if it's an interference engine, which I don't know if this is or not, which means the valves could hit the pistons, you have to rotate the crank by hand, and if you meet any resistance, then you got to move the cam pulleys until there is no resistance, and go for these marks. You know, pre-mark your marks. It's in the book where they are. And make sure, this is very important, to get the true top dead center, you've got to rotate the crank until the compression is coming out the number one cylinder. So you've got to take the number one spark plug out and put something there that would, like a compression tester or some other device, like, unfortunately, you used to be able to use your thumb, but I don't know if you could jerry-rig something that would detect the pressure on the upstroke. So it has to be on the compression stroke, because you could get it 180 degrees out and then the car wouldn't run, and if it was an interference motor, you could actually damage your valves. Of course, it shouldn't rotate, I guess. I don't think this is an interference motor, but if it were, you've got to be super extra careful. Anyway, just make sure that the compression is on the upstroke on the number one cylinder by taking the number one spark plug out and just detecting the pressure coming out as you turn it. And don't turn it fast, turn it by hand. And then once you get that, line up the crank here with the mark you can see, and both the cam pulleys. The marks are on the side of the block and on the side of a little cover on the towards the front of the car, on the right hand one, and on the actual pulley. So if you want to have all that stuff lined up before you attempt to replace the belt, we just took the belt off. The way you do that is you first loosen that screw on the timing belt tensioner, it's a dynamic tensioner, and then push it enough to the side to release the pressure, and then just slide the belt off. Once the belt's off, you can actually slide this back the other way and take the spring off the tensioner. It's a spring that goes between here and there. You can see a little nub sticking out, but that's where the spring goes. And that just holds the tension on the belt. See what I mean? And we're going to actually replace this tensioner because it is older. And then there's the beautiful water pump. So you're going to have to loosen all those bolts, and going all the way over there, all down around here. Looks like there's about 14 of them to me. And then scrape your surface clean with an appropriate knife or something like that, and put a new gasket in, and then reinstall the bolts and torque them appropriately as the book requires. But yeah, as I say, we were lucky the timing belt wasn't already broke, but if it was, you'd have to detect the true top dead center, which, just because that's lined up doesn't mean that's the right one. If it was 180 degrees out, it would still be lined up like that. So you got to detect as I said, the compression on the upstroke on the number one cylinder. If there isn't compression, then that's not it. Keep going to the next one, and you should feel compression. Then you know you're there. That mark should be reasonably close, and then you can just tweak it in using this bolt and a 22 millimeter socket. By the way, the sprockets here use 17 millimeters, and you want to have some kind of a tool to insert in those holes to hold the sprocket while you're loosening it. We didn't do that. We had the belt on there, so we used the pressure of the belt to loosen them, and that actually helped quite a bit. We didn't have to make some special tool, but they tell you in the book you can make just take a piece of angle iron or any kind of piece of straight metal and drill 2 holes in it and put 2 screws in there, and then you have, you know, appropriate space to fit into those holes around the edge of it there, and that gives you a grip so you can loosen the center bolt, which is torqued quite tightly actually. Okay, we'll get back to you when we hopefully get most of this done.